We are now being joined by Executive Editor of Dhaka Tribune, Riaz Ahmed. Thank you so much for joining in, sir, and making time for us. Of course, it's a tense time in Bangladesh. I wanted to understand from you with the current protests, and they're strongly aiming for the Prime Minister to step down. It's their one-point demand. Do you foresee a regime change at the end of this?
It is very difficult for me to foresee or foretell that. But this much I can say that this, as you have been following as well, the whole world have been following, that this quota movement have been going on for weeks now in this state, and also in the past in different years, in 2013-14, also in 2018. So the issue no more remains the quota. It becomes an issue of use of excessive force to while containing this movement, which was actually at various points the government itself said that they are also supportive to the students who are waging movement for the quota. I mean, quota has been discriminatory in the government jobs, so that everybody was on the same level that in thinking that has to be rationalized. But in the process, the use of excessive force from the state apparatus actually resulted in the killings of more than, in the most conservative estimate, more than 200 people, and a large number of them are young students of college and university. So that actually changed the whole scenario here. And the students, leaders who have been waging this movement, they think now they have been deceived in the name of having dialogues, in the name of paying heed to their demands of justice and things like that. Why they thought like that is because first of all, there was a huge crackdown which saw this much of bloodshed that Bangladesh have never seen after 1971 war for liberation. And then in the successive week, they saw that 11,000 people have been arrested, and many of them are students. Though government gave commitment that students will not be harassed just because of participating in the movement for quota reform. But in reality, they saw that that's not the case. Thousands of them are being arrested, and the prospect of getting justice was not visible up until that time. Only yesterday we saw that 2 policemen were suspended for the killing of Abu Said, who became actually,
Yes. I'd like to just come in there. The protesters have found support from some former military officers as well, and that includes ex-Army Chief General Iqbal Karim. And while the current Army Chief, Waqar uz Zaman, told officers at the military headquarters in Dhaka that the Bangladesh Army is the symbol of trust of the people, quote unquote. Now, there is no further explanation of what that implies. My question to you is, does this add a layer of complexity to the matter? Are there chances of the military's allegiance to the government being in question?
Actually, up until today, the government actually using the police, the paramilitary, DGB, and also, as you know, that a curfew is still going on, and there is a army personnel are also posted in different places for the sake of containing law and order situation, controlling law and order situation. But at what point we don't know yet that what inside stories are. Actually, they have been holding meetings for past few days. As you mentioned, there was a meeting, that's forces internal meeting that held yesterday, and the ISPR that the release that issued ISPR, that was very much was like that army, as any forces in any country would say, that they will be protecting the lives of the people, and they will be always on the side of the country and its people. So that's there.
Yes,
today we had a
Please complete yourself, please.
meeting between the PM Yeah, the PM had a meeting with our national security officials, which included our security advisor as well as the chiefs of the armed forces. So that meeting, as up until now, as I am talking to you, was still in progress. That was quite lengthy meeting going on. But so far, we just got a few lines from what PM has said, but not further details.
Mr. Ahmed,
What she has said.
We've been seeing visuals that have been coming in, and of course these visuals are these are violent protests, and they are in thousands. The students and the protesters, they're all out on the streets. You're in Dhaka. I wanted to just understand from you, just give us a first-hand account of how are things moving in the city, or as far as you can understand from your sources on ground. How impacted is regular life for everyone else who's not part of the protest? How arrested or how much of a consequence has the protests had on the lives of regular people in Bangladesh, in Dhaka specifically, where you're speaking from?
Yeah. As you know, that they have gone for a one-point movement since yesterday, and as part of it, they started from today non-cooperation movement, which means that they urged the people of the country to actually not to go to offices, not to pay their utility bills and things like that, and they urge not to operate the public transport movements on the roads, and exactly almost nearly like that's happening on the ground.
You see that happening? Okay.
We are seeing, but on top of it, what's happening that in their enforcement of that non-cooperation movement, they are taking to the streets at different places, and out of those different places, there are several places where they are facing resistance, and at places the resistance are coming from both sides, from the state's law enforcers and also from the student front and the main party of the main ruling party activists. And at places they were armed. On the other hand, we have seen also there are sticks on the hands of some of the protesters. So violence going on at different places.
It's definitely a tough time.
As you said at the very outset, there several people have killed already.
It's a very tough time for the country. Of course, these protests have been going on for several weeks now, and the resurrection of the protest that we've seen today in this form, it seems to be becoming more and more adverse for the regular life. But of course, here's hoping there is peace and calm, which is achieved at the earliest. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing all your insights. You're there in Dhaka. You're seeing it better than anyone else reporting from any other state. But thank you for sharing all your insights. That was Mr. Riaz Ahmed, Executive Editor at Dhaka Tribune, joining us from Dhaka.
Thank you.